If you have ever spent hours, and I mean hours, exporting data from Business Central into Excel, just wrestling with formats, formulas, and pivot tables to get a decent report, you know the grind. Well, get ready. We're about to look at a completely new way of working that turns all that manual pain into AI-powered insight.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the pain we all know, the old reporting grind. Then, we'll meet our new AI assistant. We're going to walk through building a report from just a simple prompt, create a dashboard in seconds, see how to fine-tune it, and then wrap up with the massive shift in thinking that this all really means.
All right, let's dive in. Section 1, the reporting grind. This is the part we all know and, let's be honest, don't really love. It's that all too familiar, time-sucking cycle of exporting raw data and then spending all your brain power just trying to whip it into shape before you can even start the real analysis. This slide just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, that's our old world. All that manual formatting, dealing with static data that's old news the second you export it, and of course the constant fear of a broken formula. But on the right, that's the new reality. Using natural language, getting dynamic updates, and achieving instant analysis. This is the heart of the change we're talking about today.
Which brings us right to Section 2, meet your new assistant. The hero of our story here is Excel Copilot. And the key thing to get is that this isn't just another button or feature. It fundamentally changes Excel from a passive tool you command into an active, intelligent partner that works with you.
The magic behind this is something called agent mode. Now, this isn't about Copilot just suggesting a VLOOKUP formula. No. It's about Copilot acting as an agent for you, actually going into your workbook, creating new sheets, writing and testing really complex formulas, and applying formatting, all based on what you tell it you want. So how does this work in practice? Well, it's a pretty simple three-step dance. First, it understands the context of your entire workbook. It knows about all the sheets, all the tables, all the data. Second, it reads your intent from just plain English. You don't have to be a formula wizard anymore. And third, it actually executes the actions, building out the report right there in front of you. In practice, you'll find Copilot wears three main hats. It's your report designer, your on-demand analyst, and a refactoring assistant that can safely help you improve your work. But, and listen up, because this is crucial, for any of this to work, you absolutely must save your Excel file in OneDrive. That's the secret sauce that gives Copilot the full workbook context it needs to be your agent.
Okay, enough theory. Let's get to the really fun part. Section 3, from prompt to report. We're going to see firsthand how simple text commands can build a really sophisticated, dynamic report, basically from scratch.
Our starting point is going to look pretty familiar to a lot of you. It's just a data set from the standard Business Central Sales Invoice Report, 1306. All we've done is add 2 extra columns for our analysis, unit cost and line amount. That's it. A nice, clean, structured data set is where Copilot really shines. And here it is, our very first prompt. We ask it to create a new sheet, but look closely at that critical instruction. The new sheet must use formulas that dynamically reference the source data set. This is the key. This is the command that stops our report from being a dead, static copy. We're telling it to build something that will live and breathe with our source data. And boom, here's the result, a perfectly formatted, clean table. But the most important thing isn't what you see, it's what's under the hood. Every single cell in this table is powered by a dynamic formula that looks back to our source data. So if we refresh that data from Business Central, this table updates instantly. No more copy-paste. Okay, now let's build on it. Our next prompt asks for 2 new calculated columns, a year-month field and a margin percent. And again, notice how specific we're being. Please add this to the existing dynamic filter formula. This tells Copilot to weave the new logic right into what it's already built, keeping the whole report integrated and robust.
And just like that, the table is updated. Our new year, month, and margin percent columns are right there, correctly calculated and formatted. We haven't written a single formula ourselves. We've just described the outcome we wanted. It's pretty incredible.
Next up, we're going to do something that builds a ton of trust and usability in a report. We're asking Copilot to find the filters that were applied back in Business Central and display them right at the top of our new report sheet. This is so valuable because now the report tells its own story. Anyone looking at it can see exactly what data is included, which customers, which dates. That kind of transparency is a huge win for analysts and decision makers who need to trust the numbers they're looking at. All right. So we've built a really solid data foundation. Now let's move on to the payoff. Section 4, the Instant Insight Dashboard. This is where we turn that structured data into real visual analysis.
Just look at how simple this prompt is. We're asking for an entire dashboard summarizing key metrics, and we're even asking for interactive slicers. We're not telling it how to build a pivot chart or link a slicer. We're just describing the dashboard we want to see at the end. And here's a little piece of what it creates. In just a few seconds, we've got charts and summaries. Now, it might not be perfect on the very first try. The source material mentioned the first revenue chart needed a little tweak. But that's the beauty of this. You can just have a conversation with it. Hey, change the x-axis to show year-month, and it'll iterate right along with you. This brings us perfectly to Section 5, Refine and Perfect. Because once the report is built, your job isn't over. Your expertise is what guides the AI to get it just right, and you do that using a feature called Edit with Copilot. This is where the real productivity gains just explode. Instead of nervously editing some monster formula and praying you don't break everything, you can just ask Copilot to do it for you. You can tell it to rename columns, standardize formatting, move things around, or even fix those awful #spill errors, all while you get to review its changes before you commit. It's amazing. This quote really just hammers home the partnership model. The AI is an incredibly powerful agent doing all the heavy lifting, but you, the human, are still in the driver's seat. Your knowledge of the business and what the report should look like is what allows you to verify the work and provide that crucial strategic direction. And that leads us to our final section, which is really the big takeaway from all of this. Section 6, the shift to what? This is about a fundamental change in your entire relationship with your spreadsheet. Let this one sink in for a minute. For decades, we have all had to be Excel mechanics, meticulously telling it how to do every single step. Now, you get to be the architect. You just describe what you want the finished report to be. The how is no longer your problem. This completely changes the game. It frees up all that time and mental energy to focus on the bigger questions, on deeper insights. Which leaves us with one final thought to take with you. If your spreadsheet is no longer just a calculator, but is now your personal analyst, what are the first questions you're going to ask?